Hi, and thank you for watching us here at Tax Talk UK, where we talk about all things tax and try to help you to navigate the tax system as it applies to you. So today I'm going to talk about how to avoid the pitfalls of fraudulent communications from HMRC or purporting to be from HMRC, should I say, that are actually designed to scam you. And before I do, if you're new here, then please do take a moment to subscribe to our YouTube channel. That way you'll easily be able to navigate back to this information if you should need to, as well as being able to find other information that we have on a whole host of different topics, all loosely catalogued in the playlist section of our YouTube channel to try to help you to find the content that is most relevant to you personally. So back then to the fraudulent communications. So quite often people ask, I've had a text message and am I owed a refund? How can I tell if this is genuine? And the fraudsters, sadly, are able to contact us in all manner of communications. So you will, so you should not rely 100% on anything, and you should always be open-minded as to whether the communication you're looking at is genuine. So, for example, text messages, emails, phone calls, letters, QR codes, all sort of manner of things. Even sometimes if you Google search for a certain scenario and you think that you're on the appropriate website, and even with that, you should always be careful and cautious about what information that you provide. So firstly, how do you avoid falling victim to these scams? Well, the first thing is, as I've already mentioned, is just to be aware, just to be conscious. Is this a genuine communication? So some things to be sort of mindful of is, for example, if you are told you're owed a tax rebate, then have you paid any tax? Are you actually expecting to have any tax refund? Perhaps you may receive a text saying that there's a parcel held needing payment of a customs charge. Well, are you actually expecting a parcel from overseas? So that is the first thing, because what the fraudsters and the scammers rely on is the fact that people see that they might have some money due back, and people often these days, we have very busy lives, may not sort of think it through properly, and therefore fall victim to the scam. So that's another thing that you should always bear in mind, that of course the fraudsters and the scammers, it's what they do. It's they learn about human behavior, and then they sort of target the scams in a way that's going to capture the most victims possible. So the next thing to consider is what are you being asked to do or to give? Are you being asked for personal information, bank details, or just information that's personal to you? So to remember that sometimes it may be, if you've given your mobile number to HMRC or your email address, perhaps there may be some communications that you would receive in that way, but HMRC would not ask you for personal information or bank details in an insecure way. So they wouldn't ask you to reply to a text message with your bank details, or to click on a link to provide bank details. There may be links provided by genuine communication, but that would invariably be a link that takes you to guidance, and that guidance would be on gov.uk. So if you are clicking on any links for information, then if you're in the right place and you've clicked from a genuine communication, it will say gov.uk. in the address bar of that browser. So that's another thing, another way. And even how you're providing the what information you've provided. For example, if you receive an email, perhaps you have several emails, or the same with phones. Perhaps you may have a landline, a personal phone, a phone for business or for work. If you're employed, you may have several email addresses. Lots of us do these days. So to be mindful of what contact details you've given to HMRC. Perhaps you always use your personal email, and this communications come on a work email. So if you haven't given HMRC the communication method that they're contacting you on, then they won't be using it to contact. So that is another thing to be mindful of. And so then really, if you're still not completely sure, so you think, well, yes, actually, potentially I have paid some tax. Potentially, I was thinking that I may have some, sort of some tax back, and I have given this number or this email to HMRC, or I've received this letter. Then the next step would be to verify that information independently of where you've been directed to. So the thing to remember is that if the communication is a fraud or a scam, then you're going to not be directed to a legitimate place. You're going to be directed to somewhere that the scammers have created that makes you believe that you're in the right place. It will look like it's HMRC, and it may only be very subtle differences that would able to identify. So therefore, what you would need to do is to verify the information completely independently. So if you have a text message, for example, with a link in it, don't use that link. Actually, either separately log into your personal tax account to have a look there if you are owed any tax back. If you have an agent that helps you with your tax returns, if you have to submit them, ask your tax agent if you're owed any money back. If you don't have access to a personal tax account, then call HMRC, and again, don't use the number that is in the communication that you have received. You can also check, and I'll pop the link in the description. HMRC do give guidance. They do have a way that you can report any fraudulent communication that you receive. And sometimes it may sort of feel like, well, why shall I do that? They're not going to investigate that. Well, and perhaps they're not going to investigate that one communication to yourself, but if everybody takes just a few moments to report, then they will see trends, and this helps them to be able to warn people, because sometimes it's easy to think, well, I knew that this was a scam or fraud, but actually somebody else may not be so lucky to have known that. So it's important that we all work together, as it were, to make sure that everyone is kept safe. So then if you establish, actually I am due a tax rebate, then again, you don't want to be using the methods that you've received if you're not 100% certain that it's genuine. As I say, if you're talking about a text or an email, for example, HMRC will never ask you for any personal information, so you know that you should never give the information via that route. You should phone the appropriate helpline, which you can find by navigating online to gov.uk and then searching directly within the site for the information that you need. Now, sadly, as I mentioned earlier, the scammers and the fraudsters are very they're sort of getting smarter and smarter. They're getting better at making the information seem like it is genuine. So the first thing to say is, if you do fall victim to a scam, then don't be embarrassed about this. Don't, sort of don't think, well, I'm not reporting it because it's my fault. It's not your fault. As I say, they are very clever. So the first thing to do is to contact your bank. It may or may not be the case that the bank are able to recover any money, but depending on what the frauders or scammers were actually intending to do, it may be that there will be enough time for them to sort of prevent anything further happening, and they will be able to help you to guide you. You should also report to Action Fraud and to the police and to HMRC. As I say, I'm going to pop the link in the description. That does also have that is also updated reasonably often with the sort of current things that HMRC are aware about. And as I say, they're only aware if people report them. So key things then to remember are to be conscious of what you're looking at and the chances of it being genuine. So firstly, if you're sort of like told that you're owed some money, well, have you paid something? Because if you haven't paid anything, you're not going to be due a rebate, because there's nothing, you can't have overpaid anything. Look at the communication and how they've communicated. Is that a method that you've given with HMRC? Have you given that particular phone number or that email address? What is the information that you're being asked to provide? If it's sensitive or personal information direct onto a website that you're clicking on, then that is not going to be genuine. But of course, it is natural if you receive something that says you are owed some money, a tax rebate or something similar, or that you as a parcel that's stuck and you just need to pay the customs charge. It is natural to sort of think, oh, well, actually, am I owed some money, or is there a parcel there? So in the instance that you're not certain whether the communication is a scam or is genuine, then just take independent methods to check direct with HMRC as to whether the communication is genuine. If you do fall victim, then do take action as soon as you realise, as soon as you have any doubt. Don't think, oh, well, I've just put my bank details on that link, I'm now going to spend some time. By that point, you've already potentially fallen victim. So if there's any doubt that you've given your details to somebody that's not legitimate, immediately phone the bank without any delay, and then go on to report to Action Fraud, to the police and to HMRC. And of course, this advice goes for any scams or sort of frauds. It's not, sadly, it's not only HMRC that fraudsters and scammers purport to be from. And of course, the reason that they keep doing it is because they are successful. They're obviously having enough victims for it to sadly be worth their while to continue. So the only way to actually eradicate this is actually to pull together, to help to raise awareness and to report anything that you see, whether you've fallen victim or not. So I hope this helps you to keep safe and to not fall victim to any scams. Thank you very much for watching. If you're not already subscribed, please do subscribe to our channel. If you find the information helpful, then please do like the video. This helps us to understand which topics are helping the most people. Sometimes we do get overwhelmed with topics that people are wanting, so this helps us to understand which topics are going to help the most people. But thank you very much for watching, and please do stay vigilant and don't fall for any of the scams. Bye.